What's going on, guys? I got another review for you today, and unfortunately I had to renew my Disney Plus subscription, but you know I had to get the content for all of you. So the MCU dropped a long-awaited show called Secret Invasion following Nick Fury long after the blip from Avengers Infinity War. This show is basically about Nick Fury's past catching back up with him as we see flashbacks from the early 90s to gain some context as to why this is happening to Fury. Fury promised the refugee Skrulls that he would find them a new planet for them, but over the course of the years, he rose through the ranks of the S.H.I.E.L.D. by working with the Skrulls and obtaining information. Now after the blip and now working off planet with Saber, Fury returned to Earth because there were Skrulls working as terrorists based in Russia. Now for the show itself, I actually did like it, at least for the first few episodes. I thought the pacing and the writing were pretty well done, and the few action scenes that we did get were great. I think the character Gravik as the antagonist played his role really well and had a lot of impact on the story. Even though the Skrulls aren't exactly dangerous when it comes to their physicals, other than having more strength, they're rather more powerful in numbers, and the fact that they can shapeshift is even more dangerous. Like how we see in the show, some of them are put in high-ranking positions within the Earth to coerce decisions for ulterior motives. I definitely think this show would have had more impact like the comics, at least if this was released either after Infinity War or sometime after Endgame to possibly set up another Thanos-like threat, that could be rising up. So episode 6 got a really bad rating and a criticism, which I mean a good portion is deserved to say the least. I feel like it was rushed in my opinion, and the last battle of the third act was quite something. It actually reminded me of the last battle of Black Adam, if you ever remember that. So Gaia and Gravik fighting was a really lazy way to have Gravik finally put down, and the fight itself was probably the most boring fight in the entire show. I mean, they both had the harvest of all the abilities of heroes, and the fight didn't even last a full 3 minutes. It felt like it looked like a kind of a combination between Shrek or Abomination, or a little bit of Carol Danvers in there too. And to me, the impacts of the death in this show was close to zero. I just don't agree with killing two of the best characters they had, and they yet to really develop. Talos especially being one of my favorite characters are just now to never be used again. Maria Bill, who's been there since phase 1 and had a lot of potential, then gave her a death that kind of felt cheap and not a lot of emotion behind it. This episode 6 formula that Marvel or Disney are trying to run with just can't really work with most stories they're trying to tell. I think Loki was done pretty well, and even possibly Hawkeye, but to do this big of an arc, it just kind of hinders everything. Also, something that would just kind of not explain was why didn't the people being kept by Gravik in the bunker not die from the radiation? Sure, there are pills to help from the exposure, but who knows how long they were down there for? Kind of a plot hole for me. And then the scene with Sonya and Fury trying to convince the president that Rhodey is a Skrull felt awfully played out to me. Honestly, the whole ending to episode 6 felt very rushed and not like a real ending to the story they're trying to portray. If Disney thinks we're going to stay subscribed to watch this mediocrity every couple of months, then they might go bankrupt. And unless you're rewatching Marvel or Star Wars, then all you're left with is movies and shows for kids. But anyways, let me know down in the comments what you thought about the Secret Invasion, and if you're a Disney Plus subscriber, instead of subscribing there, you can subscribe to my channel for free and for weekly content. But thank you if you stuck around to the end of the video, and like always, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.